Do you ever remember the boring assignments back in school? Well, in this project, we make creative, engaging alternatives. Today's assignment. Detail a survival plan for a particular apocalyptic event of your choice, be it zombie outbreak, climate disaster, alien invasion, etc., and explain the necessary skills, allies, and resources. Content will be graded not only on preparedness, but on how interesting or unique the apocalyptic event is. All right.
That's fine.
So,
All right.
Brian's is called the All-Pocalypse. Austin's had so I wondered why he didn't do the Apocalypse. And tonight we have the Ad-Pocalypse.
That's already
Oh my
happened.
gosh, no.
So,
No,
Concerning-
dang it,
concerning-
Max, no.
certain-
I literally had this idea. I was starting to work on this during.
well, you are too late, my friend.
So sad.
So my name is Max.
I was doing mine on Gen Alpha.
I'm a part of the Freeborn Resistance Group, and today it is Adgist 2051, and I'm going to show you how to divert, blend in, and escape the Ad-Pocalypse. So let's give a background. Trump's second term allowed for a much higher corporate scope with less and less regulation in the U.S. government because big business shall reign the free market, right? So upon the 2028 election, this continued as a trend, and the corporate tax rate was going to shoot through the roof because basically the Democrats got back in charge because they're like, we need to reverse what Trump was doing. In order for this to happen, the corporations were like, all right, fine, you're going to tax us forever, but we want a piece of the pie. We want something in exchange. Basically, you're going to be taxed, but you'll be given free range in basically every other domain in life possible. So no regulations on you, but we will have to tax you. So the primary goal of this deal was to keep consumers consuming under any circumstances, and this created a new world of targeted ads unlike anything we've ever seen before. Global warming has forced nearly all populations into cities, so this was in fact accounted for, but basically people are forced to live in like urban centers. Slowly but surely this grew more and more aggressive with corporate ownership of all spaces. So, the Ad-Pocalypse in action. So, imagine New York Times Square, overwhelming, super loud, ads everywhere. This is now the reality of every square inch in every suburban and urban areas in the nation. Virtually every surface viewing has been replaced with some kind of ad or advertisement for which the corporations pay pennies for each like little square inch, right? So oddly enough, the standard of living has been a little bit recovered. So we're still like making enough money to like consume all of this crap, right? Obviously, the level of consumerism is unparalleled in comparison to history. So you can see even an ad crept in at the top here for Delta Airlines. So that's part of it. All right. So how far does this go? So we have had some renaming of things. The top left image is what you can expect to see on every surface. The fandom.wiki style of ads is like every website. If you ever go on fandom, it's like consumed by like ads and you can't scroll. That's what it's like. So this is the useful area. This is ad. So it's like that. And then all cars now come looking like race cars. You know how they have like the stickers everywhere? So that's all part of it too. And then even rural areas, the ones that are left are forced to make like crop farm art to make it to where they're like, even from the skies you can see ads. Now why would a farmer voluntarily do that? Well, it's like basically the corporations are like, well, we'll buy it off of you, but you have to like put in ads, and they're kind of financially forced to do it. It's like, all right, whatever, because I'm not seeing it, right? So now most of like 60% of the market is consumed by Amazon, and then Adapole is also increased in scope as well. A new level of like language change, sort of like newspeak, has taken place into the global market by putting ad in front of everything for which it's appropriate. Not after. So how did this even happen? So how is the U.S. government changed? So this is our new U.S. government. This is our flag on the upper right. Basically, corporations will pay for a little sliver of the flag as a part of it. And so our current president is Rademacher, and his vice president is And we've had some renaming of states, such as Alaska, Colorado, Kansas, and California. Corporations do yearly bids, having small spaces on everything that is governmental related, and so that way, that's kind of how they pay their taxes, and so that the U.S. government can actually give most of the citizens a standard of living. Yeah, in exchange, elected officials and like the higher class, the bourgeoisie, if you will, are allowed to roam in quieter, like exclusive ad-free spaces. So even on public television, our dear president is required to wear ad-covered clothing. So how does Amazon in particular and a lot of the corporations target you? So basically any ad-free space must necessarily be purchased on the black market. It doesn't exist on the market anymore. Okay, it's not illegal. They haven't illegalized it, but you don't want to be caught with it, because being like caught with like something that was purchased on the black market away from ads will result in aggressive targeting with facial recognition. So Amazon has these drones that will give you like the try me free sample kind of things, where they'll approach you and be like, hey, your algorithm has been signaling that you're interested in this product or this product, and they'll present it in front of you, and then you can try it. And then I guess if you interact with it, it furthers the algorithm. But basically, that's how they target you in particular. And that's how these drones will come out and just bother you. It's like flies. It's like not anything necessarily lethal or illegal, but it's so much brain fog and like overwhelming that like it has given like serious medical problems to people in the past. And this is the ad-pocalypse in action. So if you are caught, basically like let's just say, let's take your car. If you're caught kind of like peeling your stickers off to like make it an ad-free, they're gonna be like, hey, they're sort of resisting our movement, and so like these drones are going to target you like 4 times as much. All of the ads that are going to come into your stream that recognize you are going to be so much more obnoxious, and they're going to make the experience so much worse than you. It's like you might as well deal with every ad being covered on every surface as it is, rather than being bombarded with even more aggressive things. Basically, until you switch back or go back into compliance, will they back off. So yeah, these drones are most common areas in parks, and so they're giant flies. So that's where you. So that's a problem with going to parks, is that a lot of the drones will target you. So there are ways around this, however. So of course, like I said at the beginning, I am part of the Freeborn Resistance Group. There are some things that we can do to mitigate this and clear this up once and for all. I have come into possession of ad filtering glasses that can be purchased on the black market. However, once you do get these, you do need to peel off the stickers and put ads on them so that they look like they're regular sunglasses. And so what it'll do is, as you visually go throughout everywhere, you basically, it'll filter out all the ads. However, you do still need to dart your eyes in certain directions so that the algorithm and cameras don't suspect that you are ignoring them. Probably have the glasses, in fact. So right now, if you do all that, they are indistinguishable from regular sunglasses. Whenever you're walking through the city, try to center towards construction zones in a lot more congested areas. I know that's kind of counterintuitive to what we're doing, but with that, the drones won't have a good chance to interact with you because they basically are not allowed to go into those zones. So that's a good way. And then most importantly, your Amazon purchases, it should be Amazon, not Amazon, can be engineered to give you, I guess you could say, ads that are a lot more pleasant to look at. So you look up and purchase things that are related to gardening, travel posters, and a lot of bland colors, and then throughout over time your algorithm will show you, like basically all the digital ads around you will show you things that are looking a little bit nicer, less noisy, whatever. And this can be done on a special credit card, in which case it cancels the purchase as soon as you make it, so you're not actually wasting the money, but you do get this ad revenue into your stream, if that makes sense. So that's a nice little bonus. All right, so what is the escape plan? So us as the Freeborn Resistance Group plan to seek to coordinate the following. So we're going to rescue a large amount of the film slaves being held in hostage. Basically, they're constantly filmed for all of the ads that are running every square inch of the entire nation. First, rescue them. We're going to move a large amount of escapees out into the Nevada desert through this caravan here, and then move into these biodomes that our sister team is currently building over shelter so that no drones can get in. And we are bringing a supply of recyclable water, and basically that is how we're going to live in a quiet and ad-free space. Of course, the standard of living will be dropped a little bit, but that is currently the plan at this point. So in conclusion, eventually the nation will be split into these two groups. We have our Wally guy up above, who's constantly consuming and looking at ads all the time, and then we have our much more rough and tough survivor style. Basically every surface, this is what all the wrapping paper looks like, as you can see here on the bottom right. It all looks like that. Pioneers will have to basically rebuild a part of society with very low standard of living. Will we be captured? We don't know, but we're trying our best. For the meantime, we'll need to stay under wraps for the indefinite future. That concludes my briefing. Are there any questions?
No, that was incredible. 10 out of 10 favorite presentation of all time.
I've got a question. So the survivors are getting together and they're making a dome. How are they getting funding from ads? I ask?
So they are like secretly under wraps, like coordinating the purchasing of these materials. However, once they're in like their private like houses and space, they are like scrubbing all of the materials of all of its ads, and then they're going to be shipping it out to the desert to like basically build.
I'm saying how are they paying for that whole process? Like how are they paying for the construction materials to be sent to Nevada?
Oh, basically it's a large amount of, it's a secret coalition that's working under wraps that is getting donations from a lot of secret sources. So basically you kind of have to pay your ticket in to come here. I don't know if that makes sense. Like basically we are, like, the standard of living is fine. We are making money. So it is possible. Basically, you have to throw away your life savings for the contribution to live in this new society. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. I assume that you are a part of the advertising team that advertises the sunglasses.
Yes. It is very appropriate for me to advertise our new society. We call it.
Okay. So it's like being intolerant against those who are intolerant.
Yes,
it's like a necessary evil.
That's intolerant. Are you tolerant of that or whatever the thing? Yeah.
Are you allowed to advertise your group? Like, are you allowed to advertise being anti-advertisement?
So it is not illegal to. However, this will happen. What happens on this slide. So
okay.
they'll make it increasingly hard
gotcha.
for you to leave the city. Not that anything illegal, but like it's like whenever they recognize your face, they're going to be like, all right, we're going to change the traffic lights so that you can't really leave the city, right? That kind of thing. It's just so much easier to keep everything under wraps and like little attention brought to yourself as possible.
Gotcha.
All right.
Another question is, how much would I be paid to get a face tattoo with a corporation logo on it?
Quite a bit.
To make my face
quite a bit. I did actually consider that. It would be quite a bit.
Is that common?
Yes, it is, but I just didn't use people with face tattoos in this presentation. So like if it's like on your shoulder, that's like a smaller amount of money because it's like covered up half the time. Basically, all the clothes that you're wearing are already covered in ads anyway. And then a face tattoo, that's like big money. That's like if you have severe medical debt, it'd be like, well, time to get a face tattoo. And like each company has its
now I do want to ask
parlor.
that, is there like a civil rights issue about like how like black people who have big medical bills, like it's harder for them to get easily recognizable tattoos because they have darker skin? So like I don't know.
There
are they paid less? Like 3/5 less?
No, not that I'm aware of. They do need to make a little bit more like higher defined tattoos and maybe some like lighter colors in there. So they kind of are blessed.
I'm looking at black people tattoos. They're not very easy to see.
That's the point. It's like less black people are going to get them in the first place. So they do have a disadvantage in the sense that if they really want to go to the company's tattoo parlor, then there's a chance they could be paid less or basically shooed away. The answer is kind of yes to that sense.
Okay, are there any countries that says that when you have a pregnancy that you have to tattoo your baby or else you have to pay for the pregnancy?
No, there are no. You mean companies?
Yeah, so like a company that says, hey, so like are there any countries where it's common so that like
this
Coca-Cola would be like, hey, your medical bills are $10,000, we'll pay.
Awesome. This is just Ad America. This is just an Ad American thing.
Gotcha.
There's no Canada.
I don't know if it had conquered the world.
Yes. No.
Okay.
It's just Ad America. There are deals that are made between like the healthcare industry and the company, and it's like a deal. But there's nothing that says that basically we won't pay for it or it's impossible to pay for it without tattooing your baby.
Do we end up passing the law to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of Ad America?
Well, in this timeline, let's see. So Trump does go into office and serve his whole term, and if he's successful with Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America, then it would be Gulf of America. Yes. But North America is still North America because the naming conventions of the continents don't really come down to the U.S. And also, North America is not just the U.S. So, yeah.
Okay. And whenever I watch YouTube video in your timeline, how many hours of unskippable ads do I have to watch before I can watch my 2-minute tutorial?
I was going to make a slide about this, about like streaming services, how many ads it takes. So, obviously, there's no like for YouTube or anything like that, however. Okay, so on the base level, you can expect several ads in the beginning, middle, and end. You could probably expect about 3 or so ads. However, it's going to be kind of like this, where they're going to be ads playing on the side of the screen anyway, like video ads to distract you, like throughout the entire duration. And that goes for movies. That goes for movies, TV shows, etc. And for every like all of the media has been completely washed and somehow like AI edited to where think about like sitcoms like before the Ad-pocalypse, they've all been filtered in so that every object in the show also has ads covered in them. So you can't even like reminisce to a time when there weren't any ads prior, if that makes sense.
Oh man, I saw a patent. This is a real thing, by the way. Some company patented a TV that requires it whenever it plays an ad, it requires you to shout the name of the product in order to skip the ad or to like proceed beyond the ad. Has that become a thing in this world?
No, because that would just be a quick way around from like getting you actually interested. However, there are some algorithms that do something similar to that, where like it's not just to shout the name of the ad, but you would have to like listen to the ad and say something positive about the ad. So that's
oh my god!
And then it'll skip. It says psychosomatics your brain to think positively about it, so you're more likely to purchase it. Yeah. So it is something. It is similar, but it's a little bit more
monstrous.
Yeah. What you gonna do in free market capitalism?
I wondered, as a hypothetical solution, could we say like strap one poor soul to a chair and have him watch all of the country's ads for us?
It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. It doesn't. You can't just transfer ads like to where it's like seeping to where it seeps into one person.
It's the world's first man doing all the world's work.
That's how prisons would work. They're like, all right, here's your punishment.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, the for-profit prison.
What's the current system, or what was the current state of like ad blockers?
Everything. Ad blockers don't exist. You just get around them.
They just don't exist. Yeah.
Yeah. They just don't exist. Like as soon as like one news like popped up, it's going to be detected so quickly, be down within minutes.
Gotcha.
Like by the host.
Bleak future. This is a bleak apocalypse.
No, it's an ad-pocalypse, Dylan. Come on.
Ad-pocalypse.
All the ad names were so funny. I was cracking up laughing on mute.
work.
So funny.
The flag is personally my favorite. I really like that.
Did you make that?
Yep, from scratch in MS Paint.
Damn.
Any other questions? Brian, you didn't really seem to have any questions.
No, I mean they were hitting a lot of them.
All right, just ask.
Sorry, I'm just kind of overwhelmed with all the ads.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
No, I thought it was very good all
sweet.
around.
Lovely. All right. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and give us ideas on what we should do next.